Hey, what's up, everybody? My name's Mohammed. All my friends call me Mo. I'm an 18-year-old from New York, and thank you for listening to my story. I remember being with my friends right when this was stuff was started. Remember when there was like two cases, three cases, like in each state, and I remember like, look at where we're at. Like, this is crazy, and it feels really bad because I was supposed to take this year and this decade into my own hands, and it's really like demoralizing. And like, it brings you down when you were doing so good and you were like basically running, and then everything just stopped. Like, the race got canceled. You know what I mean? Like, I'm supposed to be graduating, headed to college, and I remember when the quarantine first started, I felt like I lost all hope. I was just sleeping all day, waking up at like 5 or something, 5 6, barely doing anything, just laying in bed. Every day was the same exact day. But when all of this happened and stuff stopped, it felt really bad for me because, like, wow, you put in all of this work and you were going so hard and you were so focused and dedicated, and none of that mattered. So that was definitely a big hurdle that I had to overcome. Like, it's not the end of the world. Like, life will continue. This isn't the end. It's not like everything we were doing suddenly doesn't mean anything anymore. So I definitely had to face that and overcome it. And I feel way better since I had like finding some hidden talents that I never thought that I had. I always knew I wanted to make beats and produce, but I never like ever like thought about the realm of like just rapping or like writing stuff down. And I remember one day I was just sitting there, literally had nothing to do, so I just picked up the book, picked up the pen, and just started writing. And then 5 minutes later, I'm calling my twin sister. I'm like, yo, just listen to this for me for like a quick minute. And she does, freestyling, and she's like, oh damn, like, oh, you really doing this? And then I'm like, after that day, after I got that pause.
Hello and good afternoon. My name is Quincy Jones. I am the Program Director for Build here in Metro DC.
I'm Cindy Pineda, Senior Program Manager at Build in New York City.
And I'm Chelsea Brown, and I am the Oakland Program Director.
I'm Yanni Lay, Student Experience Program Manager for E3 here in Boston.
New York City at one point was the epicenter of the COVID-19 pandemic. The streets were empty. All you could really hear was the wailing sirens of ambulances. Hospitals were overcrowded. Thousands and thousands of cases were reported, and unfortunately, many lost their lives. It left New Yorkers wondering how it got hit so quickly, so hard. Unfortunately, the impact of COVID-19 was no exception when it directly impacted our Build New York City family.
COVID-19 was a new and unforeseen pandemic for all of us, especially impacting our students. They had to pivot from in-person learning to virtual learning, and this affected many households. Many of our students in particular were affected financially. They didn't have the means to support their family because one of their family members lost their job. Also academically, some of our students didn't have the resources or tools necessary to continue their academics virtually, i.e. maybe not a cell phone or a Chromebook, and also motivation. Many of our students, just lost that fire, that spark that keep them moving in the educational field and also in their business knowledge.
When it first all started, the school district rushed to get students Chromebooks and hotspots and ensure students knew about the meal sites across the city. Pre-pandemic, we were able to easily talk to our students in the school. Now, it has been more difficult to connect with our students. Some have moved, others lost access to their phones and internet connections, and others shut down and didn't want to contact anyone.
One student in particular lost a parent to COVID-19. Losing a parent is unimaginable, completely and utterly devastating. Teachers, classmates, Build staff, and the New York community rallied and came to the side of the student during their grief. Whether that was daily check-ins, making sure the student was okay, providing mental health resources, any monetary help the family needed, the community came and was there to support the student.
I'm from Oakland, California. I'm 19 years old, and my family came from Mexico to the US. I think I'm thankful for the most is just being around my family and people I love. I think situations like this just show you like what truly matters. And so now I'm kind of isolated and It feels kind of lonely sometimes, but at the same time, I'm surrounded by a lot of family members in a small space, which makes it difficult to concentrate. Yeah, I'm just scared about losing people. That's like my main fear. I have been trying to do like deep breathing exercise, and I have essential oils. That's what I've been doing to take care of myself. I have like a bird and animals, and like 3 dogs. So it's just spending time with them, even like 20 minutes a day, kind of makes me feel better. I've been reaching out to my friends from high school a lot, the ones that are back home, but it's kind of more like as someone to talk to. We do group Zoom calls, but at the same time, I think it's important to not rely on someone for your own health, because they're also dealing with things, so you can't expect certain things from people. And I think it's just important for people to know that, hey, you're not the only one going through something. That it's important for you to have your own space.
We also saw the direct impact that it had in the actual homes of our students. One of our students in particular comes from a single parent household where there are very limited to no resources and access to technology. Maybe one laptop, about 6 siblings in total, all in school and all doing remote learning. You can imagine how difficult that is when you have no internet or barely good internet, and then you have no technology to do remote and online learning. Luckily, we have amazing educators who reached out to the parent and to the student, make sure they were okay, make sure they had everything they needed. By showing a little empathy, it goes a long way. The student felt supported. The student was also unmotivated, as you can imagine. The student lost any kind of sense of wanting to do work, showing up to classrooms. You have other siblings that you have to care for at home. It's a lot of responsibility.
The first thing we did was conduct weekly check-ins where we were calling our students one by one on an individual basis, trying to gauge their needs, trying to gauge how they're doing and things of that nature. And then we also stepped in and provided financial support for a lot of our students. Over 100 of our students were supported financially by Build and were able to get their bills paid or food on the table and things of that nature to fill in the gap. And then lastly, we also provided emotional support for our students. So even when COVID hit, our team worked really quickly and provided engaging opportunities for our students to stay in the program and to participate so that they felt like they were still involved and that they still had some sort of regular routine. Our sophomore students participated in the first Build Ever online sales opportunity where they designed their own website and was able to sell their product online.
With one of the most important community taken away, and as we think of going back to school, we need to create opportunities for students to create a sense of community with other students and teachers online. This will help with their motivation and help relieve students' stress and anxiety.
But our students are resilient, and our students, given the resources, they will rise to the occasion. So these are some of the stories that we've seen our students, that we tell about our students and how resilient they are, and also how they still are able to engage and continue their business concept and business knowledge, while in turn helping their families during this COVID-19 process. And that's what we want to do here in Build. We want to continue to support the students, continue to help the families, and continue to bridge those communities together so we can continue to move and get through this pandemic.
But our students are resilient, and our students are strong, and they will get through this.